Her family made our lives miserable, so I broke up with my fiancée. She left after a few weeks, and I discovered a terrible web of affairs and lies that broke up our circle of friends. 7 months engaged after 4 years together. We're planning an autumn 2019 wedding. She had a terrible, abusive childhood. Her 2 brothers blamed her for their issues since her parents were crazy narcissists. Abused at 18, she was expelled from school. Despite that, she worked hard and studied well. With funding and a part-time work, she can support herself. Problem: she was still talking to her family. The only change is that they now depend more on her for money. They enjoy progressively re-entering her life and leveraging her feelings to persuade her to help them. They dislike it too. They adore bothering and are unpleasant and haughty. She can't refuse me, no matter how cruel they are or how much they worry her. I've always understood her family background and supported her through bad times. They've grown smug and stupid in the previous year or two. They visit our residence more often. These folks goof up. Her mother behaves like Cinderella's wicked stepmother. Her father drank all my beer and cleared the fridge. Her brothers occasionally represent their dad. They trashed the building and left us to clean it. Throughout all, where is my fiancé? Still in the corner, almost freezing. I'm not stupid. The hurt is real. She hopes they like her and esteem her. She has been in treatment for years for this before any nice people say something obvious. I tried to control things. I've been trying to get these jerks to go for almost 2 years, but she won't allow me to determine who comes in, no matter how much I pay. They've wounded her mind and feelings for too long. She recently informed me she needs their admiration. They were right about her, what she should do to improve for them. After too many intense conversations with tears and begging to count, the first hope she seeks help. She's grown, though. Can't get her to act. I adore her but loathe her actions. You feel terrible when someone you care about ruins their life for her family when they deserve better. Seeing her cry to sleep too many nights because of them is heartbreaking. I've tried too many times to assist her escape, but I need to plan ahead. What happens when we have kids? She calls them over after. Giving birth, what happens? In a serious health emergency, how would we handle it? What if we don't have enough money and they want it? I can't avoid my in-laws' hellish family. I'll tell her tomorrow that I want to postpone the wedding until limitations are set. She becomes upset, so I leave. I'm done. I don't want to see slow deaths. It went smoothly as possible. Get an update and talk to her. I'm in a hotel for a few days thinking about moving. There's a lot going on, but I plan to finish update 1 by next week. July 1st, 2024. I asked my fiancée about her family that night after posting the first post. When she got home from work early the next day, I was already off, so I started the chat sooner than intended and told her this arrangement would not work long term. Her family is so involved in her life that marrying her and having a child with them made me uncomfortable. I didn't want to tell her she couldn't talk to them, but I wanted to be strict about when they could come over and what they could do around the house. Before marrying, I requested couples therapy. She was upset. She yelled at me when I finished talking after staring at me frantically. Her confidence increased. When she said I didn't understand how they functioned together, I informed her they are unpleasant users who will steal her money and treat her poorly. She said she only had to try harder to be seen. I shouted at her that a parent's child shouldn't beg, plead, or work to be loved. When I told her she sets limits or I'll leave, she got angry, and I had to leave because I was living in her house. My belongings have been packed away after 2 days at a hotel. It's been awesome. I'll spend a couple weeks with relatives in mid-July. After that, I'll house hunt alone. In recent days, coming home from work to a peaceful room without her family wrecking the house has been lovely. I've been viewing and playing new films and games. It grew worse yesterday. I know her family. Comes over every Saturday, and she shields me from their fury. Since she sent me away, we hardly talk. I shut off my phone and played Disco Elysian all day because I was greedy. I expected her to call me for family aid. She was furious, and I had nothing to do with her tension. Late at night, I received over a dozen SMS and 2 urgent voicemails imploring me to come home. On the phone, I checked on her. In short, she was crying in the living room and hugging and squeezing my back when I approached. I let her settle down before asking what occurred. Her parents and brother gave her money and mistreated her. I declined her offer to help, and when she tried to get a buddy to help, everyone told her fuck that, which worked well. I'll spare you the terrible things her family said before she kicked them out. She repeatedly apologized and told me to go home. She recognized I loved her and that trauma caused it, not abuse. I bluntly informed her that I had been furious at her for years and that we needed to discuss these major issues to move forward. 1. She sells her home and moves. We want to buy a property together and have similar salaries. As an adult, I won't live in a house I can't use. Her relatives will never go. They won't visit. Those that come in threes will be considered dangerous. She sees a new doctor, and we start therapy before marriage. She never makes me talk to her 5-person family. We'll go LC with her family, but we're working hard to get her full NC. I told her I loved her, that we had many happy times together, and that I knew she was abused. These are non-negotiable, and if she disagrees, we split up. For years, she's known her family is unhealthy for her and wants to change. She replied, yes, but some may take a while, so I'll stay at the motel till I visit my family. She can come over, but I've said I won't go to her house. Tomorrow, she and I are free, so we'll stay or go out. It's not done, but I may not write again until mid-August. Update 2, July 6, 2024. Despite my best efforts to delay updating to improve my relationship with my fiancée and her setting boundaries with her toxic family, we have broken up. After last weekend, when I left her to deal with them, she seemed to understand the situation and was open to boundaries and a future move. Monday and Tuesday we hung out at my hotel, where I was staying till I returned home for a few weeks. She ambiguously texted the night before about coming over. She arrived late, and I knew something was wrong when she started ranting at me about being abusive, domineering, demanding, and unhelpful. It took me 5 seconds to realize she was reading a note from her parents. I was furious, so I asked her whether her family told her to say so, even though I had a lot of money on her. Suo Ret stated they gave her the concept, but she came up with it. I asked her to explain my actions. I was a bug that lived off her, she added. I offered to pay half her mortgage, energy, and food. My automobile is paid for. This job pays almost as much as hers, unlike her parents, who require regular payments and plunder the kitchen on weekends. After I advised her to try again with something better, she got angry and stated I was attempting to keep her from talking to others. I smiled smugly and informed her that I had always supported her, even though she had broken up with numerous pals because no one wanted to deal with her family or be a shield like me. I almost begged her to explain why she wanted to ruin her life for them. She was furious and said that I don't understand her family and that she wants their affection back. Viewing it up close is fascinating. I searched several subreddits for different perspectives. Knowing about them can help you comprehend how family abuse may harm a person's mind so severely that they think they deserve it. The way she was, it was like she was broken and refused treatment. She wanted worse, not better. Truth hit me like a truck. Despite always doing the right thing, trying made me feel dumb. I was psychologically exhausted, so I wanted her to go before the police arrived. She was almost mad. She left, but worried neighbors checked on me. A few of her pals contacted me to find out. I confessed I needed time to decide what to do. After telling her they were frightened, they indicated she had similar outbursts. Some said she could lose her job. She clearly needs a mental break. She appears to be home alone. She's slipping into a lonely life. Although selfish, I'm glad it's ended. I can't assist her now. Change 3, July 9, 2024. Some loose ends remained, but most were resolved. Some essential mail ended up at her residence since I forgot to update my mailing address right away. I had to get them and other stuff I needed for my relocation, but left behind but brought with me. She didn't answer my text, so I had to go retrieve them in person. A companion was with me in case of trouble. Fortunately, she let me get my belongings back, so everything were fine. It appeared she had many negative opinions about everything. She said she was having fun. She was delighted I left. She informed me she was free and would be better off without me. As expected from a breakup, a lot of insults. You know what? It was obvious that her family wrote the script, and she was upset. She appeared disorganized, like she hadn't slept in weeks. The house was messy. She didn't shout. Her voice was exhausted and broken. She spoke without smiling. a messed up face full of anger and hate. I lost touch with her. She had left as I was leaving. She was still going. I gave up and exclaimed, "Congratulations, your friends are gone. Your human guardians are gone, no longer engaged to you. Your help is no longer needed. People who were kind to you are dead. Only you and your family remain. I hope you're delighted as they steal your money." It probably went something like that. She was idle. He just stood there staring at me. As I left, he turned around. "Tiffany, someone we know, asked me if I was okay as we left." I told her I was okay and preparing to return home next week. She also said she heard my ex-girlfriend lost her job because she ghosted the employer by missing work for several days. They want me to attend an intervention next week. I'm not delaying my trip because I need a break. I know that if I stay linked, I will slowly decline into breakdown or suicide. I can't. Despite this, I'm enthused about the future and have learned that I didn't spot enough warning flags initially. I'm confident I'll be fine after all this. This should be my last report. I'll be in town till Sunday afternoon, so something may happen but won't be thrilling. Change 4, 18th July 2024. I'm relearning my home state with my family. I've decided to stay here permanently, therefore I'm starting the long process of looking for homes. I've been fine and enjoying family and friends. Some friends of my ex-fiancé have told me what's happening, and things seem to be improving. The rescue was scheduled for Sunday, but after her family visited again on Saturday night, she called her pals in a rage and understood how horrible she had been. She went to the ER for a full-blown panic attack and tantrum. Finally, she admits to being miserable and making many mistakes. She appeared to call me, but I blocked her number. The job loss rumor was false. Her employment remains. She can barely hold her work, and her superiors have urged her to take a break to regroup. That person is valuable, so they want to make sure she can improve before firing her. Her buddies are tight. I understand why her group is helping her so much. My ex was a really helpful and compassionate friend. However, they agree to let her sink if she returns to her former ways. She's doing well enough. She receives texts and calls from her family. Friends and neighbors forbade them from visiting her residence. I hope she recognizes her options for aid. Her parents and brothers use Facebook for nasty family conflicts. According to what I've heard, this has benefited my ex by exposing their behavior and calming them down. One mutual brought me her message. As expected, she denied all the horrific things she told me and said her family did them. She apologized for the breakup and hoped we might reunite. She needed to focus on her recovery, so I had to tell her we had to break up forever. I told her I loved her and wished her well, but this was our goodbye. Someone else received the message, and her pals are helping her figure it out. They have a long way to go, but I hope she finds comfort with my words like I do. They attempt to use our daughter is ungrateful and cruel among close family and friends, but they get a lot of flack. Careful, this is merely what someone told me without proof. In reaction, individuals called one of the brothers' jobs and posted negative reviews on Facebook, exposing their dirty laundry. His prospects are poor. However, the unofficial top underscore was 1,541. No lies have been found in her parents' and brothers' Facebook. Battle over cheap trash concerts. Great that the op avoided that shit show as much as possible. This woman would be better off if she recognized that her decisions had real consequences and that she must perform considerable self-improvement to avoid them. Hello, Far Season 695. I'm delighted your ex-fiancé is getting help. I'm pleased you're avoiding this crowd, friend. Stay strong and enjoy your homecoming. 5. August 15th, 2024. Since returning home, I've done well. I'm living with my family while I seek for a new apartment, and all my things arrived securely. Back at work for a week after setting up my position here. Only occasionally do I write and rant here. Despite my ex's friend's best efforts, the friendship group has broken up in the worst way. She murdered herself. I learnt most of what I'll say last night. Since I left, her friends have helped her recover. They went the extra mile by getting her out, creating family restrictions, and fighting for better therapy. Tiffany helped me the last time I spoke to my ex-girlfriend in person. Tiffany noticed her and Daniel becoming closer at her house. Tiffany became wary of her. She found incredibly explicit texts on her boyfriend's phone while he was sleeping from more than 5 months ago. I don't know when push became shove. Everyone knew Tiffany lost it because she told everyone. Nobody could have seen the coming shit show. Tiffany's ex-boyfriend Daniel blamed Joseph, a friend, for helping him cover. Joseph's girlfriend dumped him and threw him out. Tiffany and Joseph's ex-partner are the only pals who still talk after my ex-partner and 8 or 9 others broke up. While hearing this, I was told that everything happened in the first week, despite my month-long absence. Immediately, my ex-girlfriend lost all her friends and family, and was accused for everything. Her already deteriorating mental state suffered more. Naturally, everyone wanted to know why she wounded one of her best friends. She mentioned the usual things about how close they were, how he was a terrific support system, and how she told her family about him and they liked him more than I did. She invited him over after I left her house for my motel. She said her ultimate goal was to leave me for him. He wouldn't leave Tiffany for her, and despised hearing about her family, so he would only have an affair. I was less outraged than I expected, but I had started moving on. I was checked out at my new doctor's office and given a clean bill of health, so I didn't have to worry about that, and it wouldn't help right now. I wasn't told since no one knew how to surprise me that late, which makes sense. My ex was alone, including Tiffany's ex-boyfriend who vanished. This wall separated her from her helper. Tiffany spent all her leisure time with her family and didn't know why she lost her work. They left after winning. She killed herself and her home 2 nights prior. Her relatives found her. An old neighbor buddy arrived at her house. No one seemed to mind her family. Tiffany called late last night to inform me. She politely asked if I wanted to end things in other texts. I have no idea what to do. I'm experiencing mental whiplash. This woman was unfamiliar. I've admitted over the last month that she was abusive in the relationship because of how she treated me around her family. I realize it was a scheme to get me to leave so she could be with a guy her family admired. What did he have that I didn't? Did they wish to disturb her? Was she who she said she was? Was my longtime friends real? I now have proof that returning here was the best decision ever. Start treatment. Hang out with trusted individuals in person instead of online, and obtain aid from family nearby to solve this problem. No doubt, this will annoy me for a while. The unpleasant red dog remarked, "Don't read the letter, it won't help you. Let the therapist read it, then seal it in another package. Let them decide based on your mood, when and if to read and burn it. I won't handle the letter or anything related. My life must continue forward."